This is Private Ryan. Today I want to go over the Ableton session for the song Caramel that I did with the artist Anuka. The inspiration for this song came from a very simple concept. I went traveling last June 2016 out to Italy, and I was in the Tuscan countryside staying at a cool hotel. And I had my phone with me, and what I do is if I am inspired by any sounds that are happening around me, I like to record them onto my phone. Sometimes this comes out very well, sometimes the quality of it is very lo-fi, and either way I try and get inspiration from these sounds that I collect. And so this particular hotel we were staying at had this great grand piano. I love pianos, especially grand pianos, because they all sound different. They have a different quality, each one of them. I recorded one recently that had been near a beach for 30 or 40 years of its life and had a very different sound than the one that I found here in Italy. And so I put my phone down, I recorded it, and I found this loop. What's cool is that there was a kitchen in the background, and it caught some of the sounds for that, but let's just hear what this loop was. Cool. And so what was great about that is I put that in first, and so this helped me figure out what the tempo of the song was going to be. And that's what I really love about sampling is, yeah, when it helps you find the tempo that you're going to be working in. Now, this loop was cool, but for some reason I found this other layer up here where we see this right here is going to be sort of a kind of a kick drum sounding hit. And then this one is just another note. Again, you can hear the kitchen in the background. And so what was fantastic is I was able to layer these two and sort of get the main loop of the song. All right. Some other sounds that I got while I was at the hotel is there was some gravel that I walked on, so some footsteps on some rocks. So I recorded those. I got two different gravel sounds, loaded them into an instrument rack here, and I just have them going between each separate sound. So let's see if we can get an idea of those. As you can see, the orange thing is switching here between sounds. Chain selector, it's called. Cool. There was also a frog pond at the hotel. I recorded the sounds of the frog pond. These are much more subtle, but I'll solo them. This was at night too, so it was particularly loud. It's quiet here, but it was loud at night. So far we got that. Now what's also cool about sampling is pitching things down. So I pitched down the piano sound to make my bass. So here's the piano playing the bass part. So here's everything so far.
Your flavor's a mystery. Teach me your body language.
I just really wanted to have the piano be the focal point of the song and do most of the work. And so in order for that to happen, I just wanted to have a really low kick drum, and I wanted to have some snare sounds that complemented some of the found sounds. So again, like I was saying, when we record sounds on our phone, sometimes it comes out a little lo-fi. So I was trying to find some crispy drum sounds to add, and I was also trying to find this snare sound that I call the racquetball sound. It's sort of the snare drum sound in the Outkast song Rosa Parks. And it sounds like you are hitting a racquetball up against a window. Here's some of it when it's full range here. Cool. What I do a lot of times is I'll layer claps on top of things as well, just to give it more. So let's see what these claps sound like soloed with it. Oh, and I even did a clave as well. So it's 2 sticks of wood is the clave, and I have a layer of that as well. Here, I'll play it for you what it sounds like live. Okay, so there's an idea. Again, I really wanted to have some crispiness, some sounds that sort of fit with that gravel sound that I had earlier that I was walking on, just to have a lot of textures for this. And I love the way that Anuka sort of picked up on the textural aspect of it and made this sort of a very, I think it's a sexy song, so I appreciate her work on it a lot. Let's check out another thing that I did that's kind of interesting is I took operator here to make some chords. Okay, here's operator. It's a pretty simple setup here, but what I do is I have it on 100% wet reverb. Let's hear what that sounds like. And so what's really cool about that is if you have something like operator on its own, it tends to not really have those rhythmic elements that we're hearing. But when we throw this reverb on there like that, well, first of all, it sounds kind of like a real instrument and not a synthesizer to me. Almost sounds like an accordion or something. But the technique I really wanted to show you is that if we will look underneath here, in Ableton we can freeze and flatten chords. And so underneath here I froze this, flattened it, so it turns into audio, and then I reversed each chord. So I went for each chord, flipped it in reverse, and I'll play it for you so you can hear what it does. Here's both of them soloed. Cool. The plucks here, I just think I found some basic percussion samples, and I ran it through ping pong delay, compressor, church, reverb. And then the important place that this gets its sound is that I put the overdrive after the reverb. And so we can hear the reverb tails getting that nice crackle of the distortion overdrive coming through. Solo it. Listen again. So you can really hear that reverb's got some, I call it hair, it's got hair on it. Cool, I'm going to look around and see if I found any other cool techniques. If you remember that, that piano that I used to do the original bass line, I layered a sub underneath it. With some side chain on it. It's an interesting sub too because it has a little more harmonic quality in it than most subs do. It's got a little overtone to it. One of the other cool sounds that I enjoyed from this guy is this other operator plucking sound. It just is really out of time. Let me turn the metronome on and up. So as you can see, it's very off, but I kept this 8 bars and I just repeated it. So it does, I don't know, it starts to feel on to me after listening to it over and over again.
Hated, we were made for trouble, hey, but whatever they tryna say, oh, they can't burst our bubble, no.
It's maybe kind of hard to tell, but I believe I came up with that plucking part after I received her first demo for it. So I tried to make it not clash too much with the vocals. That's pretty much it. The thing I would definitely want to point out as well, I know a lot of producers in Ableton are not really that close with the vocals, but the aesthetic for this is that I wanted to have there be very unique sort of underground aesthetics to the track, but I wanted to mix the vocals very loud like a pop song because, again, I just think what she did with the vocals was so nice that I wanted to highlight it. Sometimes when we hear our favorite artists posting stuff on SoundCloud, at least for me, I find the vocals in underground stuff to be very low in the mix typically, which is cool. I totally dig it. But I love pop stuff as well, and pop stuff, the vocal is like twice as loud as the music, and that's the approach I had for mixing this one. I could have gone lower with the vocals, but just chose not to. And I forgot, there was one more element as well. Like I said earlier with this, is that I wanted to have the piano really be the main harmonic instrument of the piece. Once I tried adding guitar, I'm mainly a guitar player. Once I tried adding guitar, it just sort of, I don't know, it just felt forced. It felt like there was too much going on. But what I did is I picked up had kind of a poor quality acoustic lying around, and I did not have a mic, and so I recorded this little guitar solo at the end directly into my laptop microphone. Not the best audio quality, but I tried to make it fit. Here's a little idea of the glimpse of the solo. Let me turn this off here. So as you can hear, there's all that fuzziness, there's all that background noise, which got amplified because I have this dynamic tube on there. And look, it's technically like a bad sound. It's very lo-fi. For whatever reason, I made it fit into the song. It just sort of works. I did some very clean guitar solos that sounded quote-unquote correct or good sounds, and it just made it too like polished, too nice sounding. I really wanted to keep the aesthetic of this, again, as sort of lo-fi, having some sort of gravelly aesthetics, and so to have this guitar with all this noise in the background seemed to work well for me. And so that's it, you guys. Hope you enjoyed what little insight I was able to give you on this piece. And of course, go support Caramel. It's by Anuka, A-N-U-K-A. Thank you guys. Much love.
'Cause my skin and your skin melt together so well. 'Cause your skin